Reminds me almost back like Hurricane Katrina.
Devastation on the North Shore.
The damage is ridiculous. I mean, there's tree right through the middle of a house.
An EF1 tornado touching down in Slidell with hundreds affected.
We all took cover to run to the back. And once we ran to the back, the ceiling started caving in.
On the South Shore,
I just kayaked right out the garage.
heavy rains flooded streets. Frustrating neighbors who feel this situation is only getting worse.
It really just depends on which pumps are functioning and which electrical systems are functioning at the Sewage and Water Board.
Your live team coverage of today's severe weather starts right now.
Right there along I-55 in Tangipahoa Parish, and you can see that is a hurricane-like condition that you're experiencing right now as this moves in. So everybody in Tangipahoa Parish, you're under a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. So you're going to have winds 60, 70, maybe upwards of 80 miles per hour. And there's our storm tracker icon. I think she's making her way back towards I-55. Very strong rotation ongoing right now in North Slidell. We have very strong rotation. If you live in Pearl River, you need to be in your safe place. When I say Pearl River, I'm talking about the town Pearl River. You need to be in your safe place right now.
And now we're looking at real time with a tornado on the ground near Pearl River.
And if you live in these areas along 43 from Catahoula down to Bay St. Louis, honestly, they are included in this warning, I believe. Get to your safe space. That's the most interior room in your house.
Do not travel if you don't have to. Stay put. It's going to be a dangerous situation. We're going to toss now back to the anchors and see what they have for us. I'll tell you, John and Rob, this is a dangerous situation, and we've got a longer way to go.
It's on the side. I'm trying to see if I can see some money inside.
50.
All right, I do have some money trapped inside. Hey! Hello!
50, you said multiple?
Hi. Hey! Hey, are you okay? Are you okay? We got some money.
Officer Rodney West jumped into action along Pontchartrain Drive. With his body camera rolling, he locates a woman trapped in her overturned SUV in the McDonald's parking lot.
He then checks to see if she's injured and works to keep her calm until help could arrive.
We just got on the scene here in Slidell. Obviously, a lot of damage to show you. Sir, you were saying the whole building, nobody got hurt here, though, right?
Hurt. No, ma'am. Nobody got hurt. Everybody's safe. Thank God.
Were y'all inside when it happened?
All inside the building, yes, ma'am.
What did it sound like?
Big boom. And then the windows blew in, and come look outside, and the building was gone. That's the debris from across the street.
So some of y'all's cars are stuck in here as well?
Everybody's cars. It was crazy. Pretty much all the windows were busted on all the cars. Yeah, it was crazy.
We got all the people out. How many people were trapped in there? Basically, every apartment was full, so I guess at least 50 people were in there. People's doors were shut because the railings came in, so we got that. The whole roof came out, so we had to get women and children out. It's pretty much flooded down there. Well, I'm pretty sure this is where the tornado hit, right here.
So you were here as well?
Yeah, I was in the warehouse. In fact, when it happened, it was actually crazy. It sounded like a train and a bomb going off at the same time. It was crazy. He actually had to grab me and bring me out to the office, into the office to get me away from danger into the shelter.
Cell phone video captures the moment a tornado hits Easy Lube on Old Spanish Trail in Slidell. The bay door about to be ripped off as a black cloud of swirling debris passes over.
Of course, I started praying. Told them, y'all need to cry out to Jesus.
4 people were taking shelter in this office, and when they felt like it was safe, they quickly ran from the office to the lowest point possible, the pit.
We couldn't get there originally because the doors were already swinging in, flapping. I mean, it came so quick.
It just looks like a huge mess out there. I guess give us an idea of the number of buildings that you're seeing with any sort of damage, and just, you know, how widespread that damage is right now.
Yeah, Rob, so we came through 190 because the interstates are pretty backed up. A lot of folks driving, getting into some wrecks, and just a lot of traffic there. So we came through 190, and the most dangerous thing we saw was flooded streets up until we got to this point on Old Spanish Trail. So this is the first site of widespread damage we've seen. I see this contractor building here completely ripped through. Across the street, the big housing complex, mostly with roof damage, a little bit of sidewall damage, and down around trees right now. Now, we've been told that in the Pontchartrain area here of Slidell that the damage is even worse around people's home. I have family out on the Fremo exit who said there are trees on top of houses in their neighborhood too. So we're definitely for sure seeing some of the worst damage so far this morning here in Slidell.
As you can see, we got flooded in, and our car got trees and everything on it, fence, you know, struck. So, and her safety was more safety than mine, you know, her safety.
I heard it. I heard the noise, and I asked him, what was that? And he opened the blinds, and he said, before he could say tornado, I knew from school, I ran and jumped in the tub. And I said, come on, get in the tub, get in the tub. And you could just hear, when I heard that tree coming down, I really got scared. And I flew back there. But we have water damage all the way through.
My sister, our kids were home. We heard a crash in the window. The railing flew through the window. We grabbed the kids, went in the bathroom, and we're just trying to get everything cleaned up now. We just moved here, actually, 2 weeks ago.
You heard the alerts.
I sure did. I want to thank Hannah and Zach. They kept us really informed. They were talking about the notches on the line that looked like rotation. That last one that I saw before we lost power, you could tell it was moving up to Eden Isles and right toward us. And just a very few minutes later, it hit.
I see at least 3 vehicles here, a couple more over here. There's a fence, it looks like, that came down here. I'll walk this way where we can see a little bit more of the damage. Up here at the second floor of this apartment complex, you can see that the guard railing has just smashed into the windows. And if we can point this way, Tommy, we can see a little bit more into that roof damage, where essentially the rain that's continuing to come down is now bypassing that second floor and raining into the apartments on the first floor. So all of the folks here at this apartment complex on Old Spanish Trail are just trying to grab whatever they can and get out of the area.
We've been seeing some garbage trucks come through, some big old trucks come through and knock down a lot of these trash cans. So a lot of this debris is floating along these streets into front lawns, backyards, front porches, things like that. So anything that was unfortunately in these trash cans ready for pickup this morning has been thrown across the street. And that's not just here at Paris and Burbank, but it's across Gentilly this morning.
In the Alert Center, I'm Rob Krieger. We want to give you a bird's eye view of some of the damage impacting one of the main roads through Slidell. Let's take you into Slidell right now. We're heading into Pontchartrain Drive, and we're going to take a live look right now at the Fox 8 drone. Thanks to drone pilot Jake Rosenberg out there. You can see this is one of the buildings that took some major damage from that EF1 tornado as it ripped through. You can see how it just cleared out a big portion of that roof. That corrugated metal just ripped off, just like a tin can, really. And you can see directly down into the building. Some of those boards snapped. Clearly a lot of work needed to be done there on that roof to get it back in shape. And then, Jake, if we can, let's take the look a little bit more straight up so we can see down Pontchartrain Drive a little bit. And you can see just how large swath of damage is impacting this area of Slidell. Just a lot of debris still kind of smattered across the area, and even some of those roofs that aren't as fragile as that corrugated metal have damage to them. You could see this lot here with some cars and boats that have been tossed there as drivers are now heading down Pontchartrain Drive trying to go about their daily business. But just a lot of damage that we've seen throughout Slidell.
Yeah, right now we're at the intersection of Barracks and Gentilly in the French Quarter, not too far from Jackson Square. And you can take a look for yourself. The street is covered in water. In many ways, this is actually the best situation we've seen for the last hour. At one point, the water was coming all the way down, and it was all the way to the front doors of businesses. So if you take a look on the sidewalk, this is the clearest it's been since we've been out here.
Are y'all okay? Everybody's all right? You got everybody accounted for? Hey, you got everybody? Everybody's got all their fingers and toes? Okay.
Slidell police officer first class Rodney West's body camera video shows the intensity of the immediate aftermath of Wednesday's EF2 tornado.
It looked like a car bomb went off. I mean, you had windows shattered out of all the businesses, out of other cars, and it was a little overwhelming at first. but you only have a little bit of time to think.
West has served 2 combat tours and says he was scared to ride at this twister.
And I mean, it was overwhelming. It was a lot to take in, and it was like, where do you start?
West runs from business to business, making sure everyone is okay. He eventually makes it to the McDonald's parking lot where a vehicle is flipped over.
Feel like you're hurt? All right, you scared a little? All right, then me too, okay? You'll be all right.
And when somebody's in a situation like that, they need, I guess, that kind of calming figure or somebody to look to that, it's kind of letting them know that everything's going to be all right.
Holy cow.
West says the tornado was worse than riding out a hurricane.
I even went out in the middle of Hurricane Katrina. This one was different. It was a lot of power concentrated into a much smaller area.
We've just moved a little bit away from Old Spanish Trail and Slidell, just off Highway 11 now on Pontchartrain Drive, where we've heard even more reports of damage. This right here, what you're looking at, is a hair salon, and I just talked to some of the stylists that were inside. When this happened, the entire walls there, they're glass walls, all of them shattered and blown in. And take a look at those cars, just completely wrecked, damaged, tree limbs everywhere. And the main thing I'm noticing too is just a real strong odor of gas. So I'm afraid that maybe some gas is leaking somewhere as all of these crews try and pull themselves together and pick up a little bit.
I'm actually right next to the Broad Theater. I don't know if we can whip around, and if we all know this area. This area is prone to flooding, serious flooding, but this water is quickly receding now, though. But I mean, you could take a look at just how much water was dumped on New Orleans and today. I mean, yeah. I mean, so we have the water is lapping up over the gas station. There's water in the Broad Theater.
I'm in the Garyville area, and most streets we've gone down are actually passable here in Garyville, but not this one. South Apple Street at Anthony, Monica. It looks like there's several inches of water. Some vehicles are moving down right now. Now, a home to my right seems to have at least a foot of water surrounding it. A man staying there came out to the door and said he got water again. We expect him to come out. He said he needed to get presentable, but he said this is like the second time he got water here.
If we can take a look down Broad, this is lake bound right over here. We can see, I would say, maybe about 4 to 5 blocks there, but that water was a lot higher when we got out here about an hour or so ago. And then if we could take a look down Broad River bound, we can see about six or so many blocks just completely inundated with water. We've seen people having to, go up waist deep just to make it through here.
One of the areas of Slidell that suffered damage from today's tornado, the French Branch neighborhood. That's where we find our Chris Welty live tonight.
Meg Lee, we are on Rue Lamothe, and this is just one of the streets in this subdivision that is still flooded. The St. Tammany Parish Sheriff's Office, they have a deputy blocking traffic. He says that he's trying to save this one home because they've had so many people driving through these floodwaters, pushing wake into the home, and they're creating more damage. The back of the house is completely exposed. You can see the bedroom up there and the ceiling fan, HVAC, shingles, boards from the decking. All of that was just tossed into the backyard. And Jimmy, if we can, it's hard to see, but there is a mattress that's also tossed into the tree line back there. A lot of people dealing with devastation. And those I talked with, they are not surprised.
Beyond Slidell, we are seeing significant flooding across the region from more than 7 inches of rain in Metairie. Look at this. Some canals overflowed their banks and many streets and roads left impassable.
Take a look at the scene here. We are on Pontchartrain Drive right across from the McDonald's and not too far from the Walmart and the Winn-Dixie, if that gives you a vantage point of where we are for people who are familiar with Slidell. The storm that came through earlier and that possible tornado, that tornadic activity has left this.
Damage is quite extensive. We're on Rue Acadian, and take a look at this backyard. You can see pieces of board, insulation, HVAC, all tossed around the backyard. There's trees that are snapped, others completely uprooted. But take a look at this. Not only do we have all of this debris, but a ceiling fan take a look, the bedroom on the back of the house. Quite extensive, the damage.